We finally got warm enough weather and enough sun. It's not gonna be raining every freaking day. So I'm out here setting up my solar wax melter because I've got a bunch of old nasty comb that I've called out. Scrapings where I've cleaned frames, cleaned them during the winter, cleaned them, heck, cleaned them off as I've been going through the bees. Where they build burr comb, just scrape it off. I put it on top of the hive when I'm done in the afternoon. I'll go all the way through, walk the bee yard, pick it all up. I'll show it to you. I just put it in a big ball. But we're going to talk about some mistakes in this that I've learned. Number one, quite simple. Make sure it's level side to side, front to back. Now the bottom board that the pan of water is sitting on is level. This has got a little bit of wobble to it because this is one of the very first boxes I've ever built. It's a little thin, so you either have to cut the frames, cut the end bar off the frames about 1/4 of an inch to get them to go in there. Then they'll propolize it to the inside of the box where the frame is still close. So I just started using these as feeder shims and for this. But after this is said and done, you need to build you a little thing to go across. Let me just lift this out so you can see what I'm talking about. It is a Pyrex dish that the wife got. Well, it's not off-brand. It's not a Pyrex. She bought Pyrex, so she gave me this one. It's about 3/4 full of water because once it gets rolling, some of that water is going to evaporate, but the water is there to help keep the wax from sticking to the Pyrex and also clean it a little bit in case there's honey, whatever in it. I'll wash it off real good before I actually melt it to use it. The second mistake I made was buying the paper towels that are perforated down the center, those custom sizes. Well, you get a bunch of junk that will actually go through that little perforation and get down in your wax. So I always turn these up so the ends are rolled up, put it over the screen, put the camera up so you can see, just like that. And when I first started, I know we're off center again, but when I first started, another mistake, don't do it on a windy day, is I use the old straight up comb to start with because it does not have a lot of wax in it, because you're going to lose some wax as it goes through the paper. It coats the paper first, then it'll melt through. So I always use the old cold wax that I'm getting rid of. And this is what I'm talking about, balls of wax that I've just scraped off frames, tore down burr comb. Now when you get it to a certain point to begin with, to get that soaked through, you want to make sure that you're not off of the napkin. I'm going to have to take all this back into the workshop because I don't have room for it. Make a big ball out of it. But you try not to make sure you're off the napkin, because if you do, it'll run around and then you've got nasty gunk inside the area where you don't want it, where your finished product is. There you go. Then after all of that, you gotta have an old window pane. I found 2 of these. That's the second one I've had. These are the old storm windows, so they're tempered, so they can handle all the heat that builds up in here as the sun goes through and melts the wax. You'll have, I think last year it got up to like 350, 400 degrees in there. I used my temp gun. I'll try to remember to do that and do a little quick short for that later this year. Like, you know, well, we're off center again, but you guys can deal with it. That's it. I'll link the video in the description to where I show you the finished product. This is the how to get it set up and get it started. The other one is something I did a couple of years ago. It just shows you the finished product, the beautiful white, or the beautiful yellow wax. and the what some of them call slum gum, the crap that's left, all your cocoons, and like this has got fishing line in it. All the undesirables will be left on top of it. I'll just take you over and show you what I did with last year's. I finished last year up, never cleaned it up till today, and I just throw it in my raised beds and it decomposes. But that's what you're left with. You can see the fishing line in it, you can see cocoons, there's some leaves. Of course it's already got compost on it, but see the bottom, it just leaks right through it, and you have beautiful yellow wax. We're full circle here. We like to use things till the point that you can't use them anymore, i.e. like that, compost, which turns into vegetables. Thanks for watching Woolly Bees. Like and subscribe.